Hello and welcome to another quarantine session of the Pakistan Experience. We have Vicky here with us all the way from Lahore. Hello Vicky, how are you doing?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing good. What about you?
Not bad, not bad. आपको बुलाने का आज सिर्फ एक ही मकसद था. There's only one question that I need to ask you. Who is your favorite stand-up comedian in Pakistan?
Ooh. Do I have to say that? Shehzad, yes! I've seen your work and it's
Yay!
hilarious.
Thank you so much for joining us. Bye bye. This was the episode.
Bye bye. That's it. We're done. Yay!
Bye. So, what are you up to? Are you quarantined at home?
That's a bye. Yeah, it's day. I don't know which one. But yeah, we've been
Oh
quarantined
Lord.
at home for I think a week. I'm not sure. And it's been crazy because I have to do online classes, have to conduct online classes, and then you know have too much time on my hand trying to figure out what to do. Netflix,
So you've
lots of
been in the
Netflix. I've
news.
never done that in my life.
You've been in the news. What is the story there? Did you face some racism in Pakistan? क्या हुआ?
Oh, yeah. So I was recently on Facebook. I was commenting, and I was uploading a lot of rants about how people are behaving in general in terms of the virus and in terms of general racism as well. And so I was following this whole coronavirus thing since January, near Chinese New Year, when I was actually expecting. Um, a few months ago, I actually wanted my brother to come back from China to visit us for Chinese New Year, but he didn't. He chose to save money, but and not come to Pakistan. And then when Chinese New Year came, I was like calling him up, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, we have this situation over there." So then I started seeing a lot of news about how people who looked Chinese were being treated, and I was like, "Yeah, I better expect some of this to happen here as well." And it did happen. So and I started talking about it on my Facebook, and a friend of mine approached me and said, "Hey, why don't you write an article about it?" And so that's what happened.
So what happened? What was the incident?
So there are several incidents that I can count. One of I think the one that made me realize that this was actually going to be a problem was when I went to the mall with my friend in February. So a lot of people thought, "Hey, why is she hanging out at the mall while there's a lockdown?" I'll just cut to it and say this was in February. Me and my friend were in the mall, and we were waiting for somebody, and there was this family. They walked past, and then they whisper, like we could hear them, and they said, "Corona." Then another family comes in, and another group of guys pass by, and they're like, "Coronavirus le aaye hain ye log." And by the third time, there was another family that crossed us, and they again looked at each other, looked at us, and then whispered, "Corona." And I started getting like, I was pissed by then. I was like, "Ye kya bakwas hai?" Matlab, they don't even know us. They don't even know whether I was from China or not, or whether I've been to China around this time or not. And they just thought that it was funny because it wasn't just that, like, I didn't see them being afraid. I saw them laughing after that. Um, so the only thing that I don't know. I think one of the responses that I've learned from my life is that I started to make a joke out of it. So what I did was when the third family did that, I started sneezing in front of them, and they ran
यार,
away.
you're making it worse. उनकी तो फट गई होगी बेचारों की.
I exactly, I was making it worse, and nahi, unki nahi phati. They just ran away after that. Obviously, they were at the exit of the mall. But the thing was, so after that, when that happened, by the third time, me and my friend. So my friend is also a Chinese Pakistani because there's a huge community of us here. So we were just looking at each other at that point. We're like, "Hey, yaar, ye kya masla hai? Why are they doing this to us?" And then a few days later, I went to the market near my studio where you've been to quite a lot of times. वहां पर क्या हुआ था कि I was just going to the ATM, and I was just walking past. I didn't even realize the people around me. और पीछे से एक आवाज आती है कोरोना and I just looked back and I realized that it was one of those वो जो biker kids नहीं होते जो स्कूल से भी like कॉलेज से भी फारिग हुए हैं ये सब और वो हंस रहे थे. I couldn't react to them at all at that time because it was just like अच्छा या तो मैं लड़ना शुरू करूं उनके साथ और मैं अकेली हूं वहां पर या तो फिर मैं चुप करके साइड पे चली जाऊं. And the only response like I could give at that time was because I was really angry at that time. I just grabbed my phone and started, writing it on Facebook. कि भाई, because around that time, a lot of people were also joking about it very casually, and I knew it was a casual joke. So एक तो वो भी हमारे अंदर भी तो एक internalized सी एक racism होती है. So, like a couple of my friends, a couple of my colleagues would be like, oh, yeah, Vicky ka test karate hain and stuff like that. And I'm like, fine, theek hai. When you're alone over there, you can't really fight back against these things. And sometimes sometimes these people are not doing it to actually harm you, but they don't realize कि ये आगे जाके कितना problematic हो सकता है. तो फिर उस वक्त क्या हुआ कि I just started writing कि if you're joking about this thing right now, you have no idea, and this is close to like Jan Feb के time में, and I was like, you have no idea what this is going to do later on. And then around that time, I started sharing about the struggles that doctors and nurses in China were going through. I started sharing about people talking about their experiencing their family members having it or whatever kind of experiences that they had, to try to have people see the human side of this situation, that yes, there's this virus that is affecting a lot of people in this world right now, to the point where it could be anyone. I was talking to a friend who lives in Italy, right, just very recent, 2-3 days ago, and she was like, yeah, one of our neighbors passed away in the same in the same apartment, and that really, like, it was like shit just got real for us. And obviously shit was real for me when my brother was in China and my family is there. I kept telling my brother not to go and visit my uncles and aunties on Chinese New Year, and that is supposed to be the time when we're supposed to meet our families and celebrate family and the whole structure and things like that. But I told him, don't go. You just travel to Shanghai. You just travel to this place. Quarantine yourself. So, फिर उसके बाद फिर मुझे लिखना पड़ा था लोगों को कि this is something that you guys need to see. If you think that it's okay to joke about it, I mean, it's not nice. You're trying to point somebody out for something they're not even responsible for. And it doesn't, like, I know a lot of people say कि oh, listen, it's a non-issue, ignore karo ठीक है, ignore कर लेती हूँ. But I had this conversation with another friend and I said, listen, मैं 50 attacks में से 40 या 40 तक मैं बर्दाश्त कर सकती हूँ, उन बाकी 10 का मैं क्या करूँ? Like, I can't always be as strong as people think that oh, it's okay, ignore karo, ye karo. Yes, I can ignore. A lot of times I do. What they don't realize is they only see a part of what I have to deal with. So yeah, that's why I decided, when my friend said, why don't you write an article, I decided, chalo, theek hai, I'll give it a go.
And I guess even those people, now that it's a lot real for us than it was maybe in Jan Feb. And I remember talking to you कि उस time भी also you wanted to meet your uncle and you were worried कि यार मैं जाऊँ ना जाऊँ मिलूँ because he's old. And I was like, it's probably better for him that you don't go right now or outside interaction ना हो. So you had a actual worry. So when this is thrown in your face, it just exasperates that, right? That would be like if you go right now at AKU
Yeah.
और जिनकी families पेशेंट्स हैं उनको जाके आप कोरोना कोरोना बोल के हंसना शुरू कर दो. You're not going to turn around and say बर्दाश्त करो. Now that it's real for us, now that it's an actual issue, if somebody does that right now, nobody's going to say यार बर्दाश्त करो. या अगर खुदा ना खास्ता कोई नेशनल ट्रेजेडी होती है पाकिस्तान में,
Yeah.
आप सोच भी नहीं सकते ना कि अगर लेट्स से अगर कुछ जिस तरह APS जैसा हो, आप
Hmm.
सोच भी सकते हैं कि कोई जाके किसी बच्चे को बोले या किसी की फैमिली को बोले.
Exactly. You
So
can't say
when
bardasht
it's
karo.
so real, yeah, you can't. And जो लोग अफेक्ट होते हैं, आई थिंक उनको ज़्यादा फील होता है, एंड इट्स जस्ट अ कांस्टेंट रिमाइंडर. You're also since a part of the Chinese Pakistani community, and if I look at America right now, racism has also led to violence. So जो आपका experience है, are
Yeah.
people who are experiencing even worse, or is it across the board that this is happening?
So, what I know is, thankfully, यहाँ पर, like in Pakistan, it hasn't become violent. It has become disheartening. It has become like, because um, I'm not the kind of person who wants to go and read the comments, but I did read a couple of comments of my article, and there was one that really struck me where this guy was saying, I felt really bad for this Chinese man who came to our market looking for a charger, and everyone was turning him away because he was Chinese. And when I offered him, in the end, he just hung his head and left the market. So we're not like, thank God right now people are not being physically harmful to the Chinese. But the thing is, it's not just the Chinese who are facing it now. It's also like the Japanese, the Korean, the Singaporeans, the Malaysians, the
वो तो हमें फ़र्क नहीं
Vietnamese, for
पता चलता ना,
example, the
हमें तो जो
Thai,
जो
the
हमारे
Filipinos.
हमें इतनी नुआंस नहीं
क्योंकि
आती,
फर्क नहीं
हमें
पता
कोई
चल
इतनी
रहा.
नुआंस नहीं आती, हमें जो हाँ, हमें हमारे लिए सब
Yeah.
चाइनीज़ है,
Yeah.
जो भी हो.
वही एक तो मसला है ना कि सब चाइनीज है. ओके फाइन,
हाँ
आई
ना.
कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट मच, बट द थिंग इज, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, आई वाज जस्ट रीडिंग इट. मैंने अभी बल्कि एक पोस्ट किया था कल रात को ही कि हाँ, जब मुझे लोग कहते हैं कि इट्स अ नॉन इशू एंड आई शुड बी लाइक, मुझे बर्दाश्त करनी चाहिए एंड इट्स नॉट सो बैड. And I did write yesterday in the post that yes, I am not having it as bad as these people, and I wrote it in the article as well. I saw this video of an old, I think a 60, 70-year-old Chinese man. And what he was doing was he collects cans in New York. I think this was a store. I believe, I'm not sure, but and what was happening was there were a couple of young guys who were throwing things at him, who were yelling at him, who were swearing at him, and who ripped his cart from his hands. And this guy is crying. This is a 60, 70-year-old man. He's crying and
This is not in
like
Pakistan though, right?
bawling. And this is not in Pakistan. This is not in Pakistan. This is in America, a more developed nation. And I was just saying, and I had to remind people that, listen, that old guy could have been anyone. It could have been me. It could have been my uncle. It could have been my dad. It could have been my brother. It could have been my grandfather. And I don't want that for anyone. So seeing something like that, I hope कि यहाँ पर इतना escalate ना हो. And yes, I had a lot of people say things like, and I really am thankful to a lot of the people who said, we support you. We're really sorry. Um, Even my colleagues at work were like, I'm so sorry that you have to go through this. They were sharing this in the group, and I was like, oh shit, you're not supposed to share. I didn't even talk about it. Why are you talking? But they wrote messages to me and said, I'm so sorry that you had to go through this, and we're not like this. And yes, you're not. And I have to like keep saying कि यार यहाँ पर इतना बुरा नहीं है, लेकिन हो रहा है. And then there is a possibility of it escalating. Let's not let it come to that point.
Yeah, it's quite a slippery slope ना. It's quite a slippery slope from let's say अगर हम sectarian violence की भी बात
Exactly.
करें, going from शिया काफिर हैं इनके घरों में मत जाओ to Shia genocide. It's it's quite a linear chronology that you can trace literally. So if
Exactly.
you don't nip it in the butt at the point of racism, at the
Yeah,
point of exclusion, then it will lead to violence. It's inevitable.
exactly. So I was just like, the other day I was ordering something. The last day that I was able to move around, this delivery guy came over to drop something, and immediately started this conversation कि आप लोग लेके आए हैं. And I'm like, मतलब आप लोग लेके आए हैं. I had no idea how to respond to that. Because there's a lot of fake news around this issue as well, and I don't know. again, like you said, it's such a slippery slope that people keep believing whatever they are fed. So I thought that it was important कि अगर हम यहाँ पर locally भी बात करें कि यार locally यहाँ पर इस तरह हो रहा है, तो शायद लोगों को समझ आए कि यार हमें थोड़ी सी compassion, थोड़ी सी इंसानियत पे भी, like we have to think about it. Okay, what are we doing? What are we going to leave later on? And like I think I very rightly put it, and I'm not boasting, but I feel like I remember writing, we're not going to remember what this person wore. We're not going to remember that. We're going to remember how this person treated us. Whenever we talk about people, we always say, "Hi, yaar, is bande ne, he's a good friend of mine," or we'll say, "Oh, he's a horrible person," because we're talking about their experiences with us whenever we talk about people. So it's very important to show compassion as much as possible wherever you can. So वही
Absolutely,
बात है,
yeah. I'm
even with
also
this
now realizing
discrimination,
that
even with
the
exclusion,
thing,
you're doing.
yeah,
I mean, even I'm going to go back to the first encounter that we had, where you were like, "मुझे कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रही, मुझे सिर्फ
yeah.
chicken Manchurian सुनाई दे रही है." I mean, it's funny, but at that time when it hit me, it was like, I don't know this guy. Why is he
I
attacking me?
apologized right
You know.
away. I
But then
apologized. I apologized.
you
It was a
you
comedy show,
apologized
Vicky.
right away
Yeah, it
at the
was
end
not
of
in
the
the middle
show.
of the
Yes,
street.
yeah,
It
but
was
I
not.
didn't
It was
know
not the
that.
middle of the street.
I know, but see, there's a difference.
Yeah.
You see, there's a difference over there, right?
हाँ
There's a
नहीं नहीं
difference
वो
in that
बहुत
encounter.
stupid
Okay,
बात थी करने
after
वाली.
that conversation, we were able to have a conversation. Basic stupid हो. Listen, people make mistakes and it's okay. It's
Yeah, yeah,
completely
yeah.
fine. बात ये डिफरेंस ये थी उस
No, no,
एनकाउंटर
I'm
में और
really
स्ट्रीट
sorry.
वाले
And मैंने
एनकाउंटर में
end of the
आप
show
और मैं
नहीं
एक
wait किया
दूसरे के
था.
साथ बात कर
I
रहे
the
हैं.
moment I said it, I was right away like, oh shit, ये क्यों
मैं
मुंह से
तब
निकल
निकल
गया.
गई
कभी
थी.
कभी
बाय
during
द
a
वे
show
मैं निकल गई
आप
थी.
कुछ बकवास कर
मैं उठ
देते
के
हैं.
चली
And
गई थी.
हाँ नहीं मैंने फौरन कह दिया
हाँ,
था.
बट मैं उठ
And
के
this is
चली
also
गई
like
थी, so मुझे नहीं
years
पता.
ago. I'm so sorry यार. नहीं नहीं मैंने
Yeah. So,
immediately, and I could
but you see,
honestly not
like
hear
we're
you.
really good
And
friends
so,
right
but yeah,
now,
it was a
right?
stupid joke. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you
And now
told
you
me
see that
that.
I'm not
But
a
like I
terrible
said,
person.
you and I are now really good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. You and I are able to talk to each other. अब मैं और आप बात कर रहे
Yeah.
हैं जिसकी वजह से clear out हो गई situation. ठीक है? I grew. I learned to be more tolerant about jokes. You learned to be more careful about your how you're going to react to people. Right? It's all about trying to learn and trying to have a conversation around things. That's very important.
Yeah, I think it's context is also very important, right? So like even right now, if I meet a French person, I'll be
Hmm.
like baguette, French fries, because that's not a racist trope. I'm fine saying that. I mean, I'm still stereotyping. I'm still like mocking, sort of, right? Get it? But it's not hurtful. Like अगर कोई French इंसान आता है and I'm like, oh, French fries, baguette, will a loaf of bread. I'm well, I'm still making fun, but it's not
I mean,
hurtful or
again,
it's
it
not a
depends.
racist
It
trope
depends on
or a
how.
stereotype.
I mean, it depends on
Depends on how what.
how you take it there. The relationship that you guys have. Like you might do that right now, but then after that, you guys like, hey, what's up? If you're able to have a
Yeah.
conversation, or if it's your friends, like it took like a lot of my friends.
Huh. I mean, it's like a
One of the most
icebreaker.
like सबसे
But
पहला encounter हमेशा यही होता था. Exactly.
huh.
बट अगर
But I
आइस
mean,
ब्रेकर नहीं
I'm
है,
not
अगर
going to be
आपका वो
like,
वाला सिचुएशन
yeah,
नहीं है, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल देयर वाज दिस कन्वर्सेशन आई
yeah.
हैड at a store where there was this guy who was trying to be chummy with me, and his girlfriend was there. Again, I'm probably stereotyping, I'm so sorry, but like this woman was there who was a friend of his, and they were going all like, oh, egging on him कि जाओ उसको बात करो, and I took offense because उसके पीछे बीच में ये बोल रहे थे ये फिलिपाइन से आई है, ये थाईलैंड से आई है, ये यहाँ से आई है. I was like, dude, I can hear you. And when it escalated a little bit, well, then I was like, listen, आप लोग थोड़ा सा तमीज कर लें, like तमीज से रहो. And this woman started fighting with me, and the first thing that could come up from her was जाओ अपने मुल्क में वापस. And I'm like, what? Like
And not
I
that
couldn't
it really
respond to that,
matters at all,
but
but
वही
you're
बात है कि
a
हमारा.
Pakistani citizen, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I am a Pakistani citizen, and I proudly say that wherever I go, because it's like I, I feel like that the image that people think, like I'm surprised by people saying, um, why are you here? Why do you live in Pakistan? Or you speak Urdu very well. Or stuff like
आई थिंक ये भी प्रॉब्लम है ना
even a
कि लोग
reaction
अज्यूम
to
करते
the
हैं पब्लिक
post,
में कि यू डोंट
to the
अंडरस्टैंड
article.
उर्दू, सो इफ पीपल लाइक स्टार्ट
Huh.
सेइंग थिंग्स अराउंड
I
यू, देयर
have
लाइक इसको तो
received
समझ नहीं
several
आ रहा होगा,
times
सो दे या कि ये इनके पास लाइसेंस है टू बी रेसिस्ट कि वो उर्दू में बोल रहे हैं,
lots
इसको
of
समझ नहीं आ
stories
रहा होगा.
about that.
बताएं ना,
And
बताएं
lots of
स्टोरीज.
responses every time. Was There was this one couple on when I went to Hyperstar Care 4 when it was called. So they were like, bade maze se, they were like ching chong and things like that. And I was like, यार कुछ लोग बड़े होते
इसमें
ही
तो
नहीं
उर्दू
है.
भी नहीं है, अगर आप चिंग
And
चोंग
they
कह रहे हैं तो
immediately
ये तो उर्दू का कोई ताल्लुक भी नहीं है इससे. दिस इज जस्ट
उर्दू भी
डायरेक्ट
नहीं
रेसिज्म.
है.
ये तो समझ में आ ही जाएगा जिसको उर्दू नहीं भी आती तो.
डायरेक्ट. लेकिन उनकी शक्ल देखने वाली थी उस वक्त. व्हेन आई सेड कि यार कुछ लोग बड़े नहीं होते, देयर फेसेस वेंट रेड एंड दे इमीडिएटली वर लाइक, आई एम सो सॉरी, आई एम सो सॉरी, हमें नहीं पता था कि आपको उर्दू बोलनी आती है. एंड आई वाज लाइक, क्या मतलब है इसका? इसका क्या मतलब है कि मुझे पता नहीं था कि आप
मतलब
उर्दू
हम
बोल
कमीने
सकते
हैं, हम चाहते नहीं थे आपको पता चल जाए कि हम कमीने हैं.
हैं. मुझे पता चल गया. एंड आई जस्ट केप्ट. और ये सिर्फ एक दफा नहीं, ये काफी दफा हो चुका हुआ है कि a lot of the responses to when I said, listen, you're not supposed to do that, or this is a bit, you're getting a bit बदतमीज, like can you please behave, हमेशा ही होता है, हमें नहीं पता था कि आपको उर्दू बोलनी आती है. And I'm like, why do you think Urdu is such a low language? मतलब even when I start telling them that I've learned Urdu, they'd be like, why would you learn Urdu? And I was like, because school. क्योंकि स्कूल में हमें कहा था सीखने को. आई डोंट नो, आई लिव हियर, दैट्स व्हाई आई नो उर्दू. बट दे डोंट, the perception towards even themselves, um something that sometimes makes me a bit iffy about it. Because like there was this one comment that I read, because I think Dawn used that caption ke she came to Pakistan, her parents came to Pakistan in search of a good life or better life. And there were a couple of comments that said, oh, better life Pakistan, they made a big mistake, or oh, bad assumption, or something like that. And I'm like, dude, there are so many contexts to that. You can't just block it out to the point. Like, it's not just about economics, or it's not just about, I don't know, jo bhi situation hai. You can't just deny people their belief of this place as well, na? Okay, if I think this is a good place, if I think this is my home, you can't just say, okay, no, because you look like this, this probably isn't your home, or something like that. Or you shouldn't be, you can't
And
be
that's
like
exactly what it
making
is.
fun
The
of
only
them
difference
constantly.
between you
Like,
and somebody who was born seconds after you is the way you look. That's literally the difference. You have as much of a right as anybody else. मतलब it's not like कि हमसे कोई फॉर्म भराया जाता है पैदा होने से पहले कि कहाँ पैदा होना है, किस तरह दिखना है. तो you, if you are a citizen, you
exactly.
have as many rights as I do.
And I mean, I think if people ask me, if you were to be born again, where would you be born? I don't mind being back over here. Because मुझे काफी लोग हर वक्त ये कहते हैं कि, so this is a constant thing, because especially because you're a first generation immigrant, there's a lot of pressure on you to do well, and I'm like the eldest child, so there was a, my parents didn't do that, but वो एक अजीब सी एक एक्सपेक्टेशन होती है कि जी नहीं, मैंने सबसे पहले ये करना है, मैंने सबसे पहले ये करना है, मैंने सबसे पहले पीएचडी करना है, मैंने सबसे पहले मास्टर्स डिग्री करना है, या व्हाटएवर, मैंने सबसे पहले सबसे बड़ा ये करना है, because you want to prove something to your own head for some reason. And this is my own fault, by the way, not anyone else's, to be honest. But वो उसपे ये था कि, when we try to do all this, a lot of people keep saying, in order to succeed, you should go to another country, leave Pakistan, and all that. Like, I've been told that countless times, even by my own friends, कि, listen, this is probably not the place for you. Or, and they don't say that out of racism. They say that out of concern, कि, growth नहीं है, या जो भी नहीं है. And then I was like, I kept telling myself कि यार ठीक है, पढ़ने के लिए मैं बाहर चली जाऊंगी, मुझे कोई मसला नहीं है. I love traveling. but this place is my home. This is where I grew up. So I can't just, cut away or cut off this part of my
Yeah,
life just because you think that I'm going to leave this place, or just because. And then I also, like, I constantly hear people saying things like, "Oh, the grass is always greener on the other side." Yeah, the grass is greener on the other side because you forgot to water your own grass on your side. That's something that I really believe in. Okay, yeah, if you don't water your own grass, then the other grass is definitely going to be greener.
and even like knowing you now for many years, I feel you always like wear your Pakistaniyat as a badge of honor. So even if somebody comes to meet you, you'll say something in Punjabi
Oh
or
yeah.
Urdu just to make them comfortable, and like you're very proud of that. So now that you've also spoken about, कि pre corona भी लोग इस तरह की बातें करते हैं, and even like your page is called the Chini Chronicles. Chini sometimes could be used as a slur like Paki, but you've reappropriated it, you're finding strength in it.
It
So
is,
ye
but
has it always been your experience कि you've felt like कि लोगों की नज़र में at least कि you're not as Pakistani or you're not one of us?
loaded question, man. Um,
Welcome to therapy time with Shehzad
you know,
Qiyashi.
like, oh my god. Okay, so I knew I was different from the get go. Okay. I mean, मुझे- when I went to school, I knew nobody spoke Chinese. So I only spoke Chinese at home with my brother, with my mother, with my father. Um, Although growing up, my mother was friends with a lot of expats, so it kind of internationalized or diversified my view on the world. Uh, but oftentimes, especially when I was growing up and when I was in school, there was always, especially this one, my first school, which was a public school, and I still remember the horrors of that place. Um, I was constantly singled out. There was like, oh, wo chini bacha, oh, kitty cute hai wo chini bachi. Yes, I was cute. Um, constantly
Still
getting that,
are.
and then constantly being physically. अभी का मुझे नहीं पता, I'm like not no makeup, no filters and everything right now, but उसने क्या किया था कि मतलब it was this was so rampant at that time, and I'm only in nursery back then. Yeah, I was preschool to grade 2, and every day in break, and we didn't have those breaks where, like, for example, आजकल के स्कूलों में breaks जो होती हैं वो बहुत age wise होता है, so या section wise होता है. तब सबकी ब्रेक एक ही टाइम पे होती थी, और जो सीनियर्स आते थे they would look for me and they would pinch my face like anything. And I remember almost every break I was crying after the break because I mean it was really painful with everyone pinching my face and stuff. And then it came to a point where one time one teacher, I still vividly remember this, this teacher paraded me in the whole school looking for the bully, and I was like, I can't tell which class he was in, he was just a big kid. um and then after that my dad told the school to not let me out in the break at all, so I spent a whole year not going out, spending time with my friends. So that was also a thing that happened. So, and my
I'm so
screen has
sorry for your
died
experiences, yaar.
on me.
I'm so sorry for your experiences.
But it is an
I think हम सिखाते ही नहीं है
experience.
बच्चों को, बट हम बच्चों को इंक्लूजन सिखाते ही नहीं है, राइट? सो इट्स नॉट जस्ट कि एक बच्चे को पर्टिकुलरली चाइनीज इंसान से बुरा नफरत होगी, इट्स जस्ट एनीथिंग डिफरेंट, वो शायद बंगाली हो, वो गोरा हो, जो भी हो, काला
Yeah,
हो, it's just
we're
anything
const-
that's different, right? We don't teach
Hmm.
inclusivity. We're like, yeah, this is different,
Yeah,
different is equal to bad, and a lot of that needs to be unlearned. मतलब हम assume
not
करते हैं नहीं नहीं
necessarily
जी,
bad.
inherent, but that's how their minds are working, right? कि oh, different bad, this needs to
Yeah,
be made fun of, either it needs to come in line.
different,
Even अगर
questionable.
behavior किसी का, हाँ, but that's just not just curiosity, right?
It's
if
more
you're
like
if you're
different,
like
questionable. ये
bullying,
क्यों है? ये ऐसे क्यों है? But
हाँ, but it translates into
that's
like
the thing.
hurtful
They
behavior.
don't realize what they do. Yeah, it translates to a
But
lot of hurtful behavior to the point where you're
but that's exactly
worried
what I'm
about
saying,
it
Vicky,
कि
right?
यार ये
Like
क्या
it's
हो
not
रहा है, ये
maybe
क्यों इस तरह
just
कर रही है,
them.
मैंने क्या किया?
They're just children, right? So they're just parroting what they've learned या जो उनके घर पे. If they see कि their parents or their family thinks different is bad, or they try to
Hmm.
hammer out any differences, whether that be अच्छा जी सिंधी महाजर
Hmm.
ये हमसे अलग हैं, ये बुरे हैं. अगर आप इस तरह के लेसन्स घर पे दे रहे हैं ना कि जी ओ
Hmm.
हिंदू मुसलमान डिफरेंट बैड, सिख डिफरेंट बैड, तो वो एक आपका ढांचा बन
Hmm.
जाता है, एक सांचा बन जाता है आपके दिमाग में, जिसमें फिर आप कुछ भी डाल दें, वेदर दैट बी जेंडर, वेदर
Agreed.
दैट बी नेशनैलिटी. सो इवन दो पाक स्टडीज़ में ये तो कोई नहीं सिखा रहा कि जी चाइनीज़ लोग बुरे
Hmm.
होते हैं, या कोई घर पे भी नहीं बोल रहा, कुछ इतने हैं भी नहीं दैट वी हैव दिस डिस्कशन. बट इफ वी आर कॉन्स्टेंटली हैमरिंग डाउन स्टोरीज ऑफ
आपको
पार्टीशन
इन्वॉल्व
वेयर
भी करने
पीपल
देते ना.
डिफरेंट देन अस आर टेरेबल, तो फिर आप जब स्कूल जाएंगे और आपको
Hmm.
चलें कुछ सिख नहीं नज़र आ रहा, बट आपको कोई चाइनीज़ नज़र आ रहा है, या आपको कोई फिलिपिनो नज़र आ रहा है, you still have those terrible lessons of different is bad and
Hmm.
it's not a good thing. So it just projects into this
Hmm.
hate and
Hmm.
bullying, and trying to get them to fall in line कि नहीं,
Hmm.
different नहीं रहना तुमने.
But this is also where I track back to कि आपके पास जब तक exposure नहीं है, like if you are not able to talk to the other person, eh, you know that's the problem कि आप एक दूसरे से बात करना ही नहीं चाहते. आप सिर्फ इस वजह से क्योंकि आपके दिमाग में ऑलरेडी बना हुआ है ये बात. Like I remember a kid in my class. I was teaching primary school kids at that time. This is one kid who just came up to me and said, my grandmother told me Chinese people eat kids. It's like I was like, I've been teaching you for a year. I haven't eaten you. Why are you even
तो
telling
अब
me this?
क्वारंटीन में विकी आप खाना कैसे खा रही हैं
If they're
यार?
older,
अब तो कोई
then
बच्चे भी नहीं है, यू कांट इवन गो आउटसाइड टू ईट देम. तो ये आजकल आप क्या कर रही हैं? मोहल्ले के बच्चे खा रही हैं, चुरा लेती हैं जो
और
सड़क
मेरा
पे आ
पेट
जाए.
भी भर रहा है. नहीं,
हैंसल एंड ग्रेटल
chickpeas,
चाइनीज एडिशन.
chickpeas, all the dried foods. Yeah. Oh God, yeah. But see, that's the thing. I didn't know how to respond to that at that time because this was like the earlier, like I was just in, I had just started teaching and there were kids talking to me like this. And then I realized there was this inherent sense of homogeneity in this culture. Um, because I was asked one day, "Ke, acha miss, aap, they were talking about Eid and about sacrifice, uh, and suddenly they were talking. Okay, so they were talking about what they're going to be sacrificing, what their family members were going to do on Eid, and then they turned to me and like, Miss, how many goats are you sacrificing? And I'm like, I'm not going to sacrifice any goat. And there was this, and I'm teaching this class for the second year now. There is this wave of disbelief, this wave of shock, and like half the class was like. And I was like, क्या हुआ? I was like, Miss, आप मुसलमान नहीं हैं. And I'm like, I thought it was pretty evident. And they were like, no, Miss, but you live in Pakistan.
आई एम
And
होपिंग
then
द
I
स्टोरी
realized
डिडंट
कि
एंड विद
यार
फिर क्लास के
पहले
सारे बच्चों ने
वो
मुझे इस ईद पे
80s
सैक्रिफाइस कर दिया.
नहीं, the class then had a
My God.
conversation with me ना कि अच्छा, oh, there are people other than Muslims living here. And because what's very interesting is because when schools are talking about creating global citizens or thinkers or open-mindedness and things like that, then actually start inculcating that. Then na, don't allow your kids to, like, I'm not saying don't allow, but encourage them to talk about things. Then encourage them to talk about it. So I didn't yell at them at that point, but I did say, okay, listen, there are people who live in this world, and you're not like,
Hmm.
there are so many other religions as well. And not just religions, there are different types of people. So you should be okay with that, right? It shouldn't come as a shock to you.
Yeah, and आपने जो
And
homogeneity की
uske
बात की है,
baad
that
फिर
is
they're like,
so
हाँ यार
spot
ठीक है.
on. It's so spot on that just
Hmm.
because we don't see anything different than us, we assume nothing different exists and everybody is the same. And जो आप बच्चों को बताने की बात कर रहे हैं,
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of times we assume that unconscious left to themselves, children will not. Okay, let's assume a perfect world where children are left to themselves. Uh, they
Hmm.
will be racist, honestly, because we have evolved from tribes, and there is this unconscious bias in our brains. Same is good, which is why even symmetrical faces or faces that are similar to us, we tend to, or
Hmm.
like babies at least, with not as developed minds as ours, even though a lot of Pakistanis have minds which are not even as developed as babies, pot shot at some people. But जो बच्चे होते हैं वो सेम की तरफ जाते हैं नेचुरली, ये
Yeah,
हमारा एक
shots fired.
एवोल्यूशनरी ट्रेट है। ये है एक यार, क्या आप अगर नेचुरली भी बच्चों को
Hmm.
छोड़ देंगे बिकॉज़ ऑफ एवोल्यूशन, दे विल गो टुवर्ड्स व्हाट इज़ सेम टू देम, व्हाट इज़ सिमिलर टू देम। सो ये जो अनकॉन्शियस हमारी बायसेस हैं, in a perfect world they will also exist. Now you top that with our culture, you top that with things that are taught in family, कि नहीं जी ये लोग अलग बर्तन से खाएंगे, ये लोग हमसे अलग हैं, ये लोग इनसे नफरत करो, whether that be political, whether that be ethnic, whether that be sectarian, whether that be national, on any point. So एक unconscious
Hmm.
bias है, b you're doubling that with all these lessons of hate that you're teaching. So it's a conscious effort that needs to be made, whether that be schools or educators, कि लोग इसको unlearn करें. It's not just that you learn something else, you have to unlearn all of this first. Because आप अगर जब the moment they come to school, you're already fighting against a tirade of hate, it's already a tsunami. तो वो पहले जब तक अनलर्न नहीं होगा, आप दूसरी
Hmm.
बेस नहीं लगा सकेंगे. It's already flooded. तो you got to remove all the water first
I'd
before
also like to
starting to build
add
a
one
base.
very interesting thing here.
जी जी.
I'd like to add something over here. Like, even though, yes, we have a lot of stimulus that tell us कि अच्छा same is good, or घर वाले इस तरह की हरकतें करते हैं कि ये बर्तन उसके लिए, all that stuff. Yes, it exists, but one of the biggest influences in our lives is religion, whether we accept it right now or not. Um, and I believe that I'm not a very religious person, to be honest, but I do believe in a lot of the basis of religions. Like, a lot, every religion preaches the fact that you have to be good to the other person, right? So I feel like by that, like, if we're influenced by religion that much, at least basics to use karna shuru karo na. Like, I I understand कि अच्छा यार, if I have to, like, I've always been taught in school कि um treat other people the way you want to be treated, or you have lessons like love your neighbor, or be nice to each other, be kind to each other. You have these messages as well. It's just that we are not consciously um choosing to do that. I mean, you do have, even good families are saying some racist things sometimes, and you're like, wait, what just happened? But then at the same time, they're being nice to people also. So there's this weird kind of a jumble कि अच्छा, हाँ, हमारे पास बहुत ज़्यादा negative elements हैं, लेकिन हमारे पास positive elements भी बहुत हैं, and we automatically go towards the negative, and that's something to do with this you know craving कि अच्छा यार, ये जो अभी, there is this sense of fun in it, so like making fun of people, for example, it gives that sense of power to, at that point, or that bully, or to that person who's making fun of somebody कि यार, हाँ मैंने इसका मजाक उड़ाया, ha ha ha, good fun, I look cool in front of my friends. That's the kind of thing that they go for. And but nobody celebrates the kind of
Yeah,
the person who's doing
and
good.
yeah,
Nobody goes and says,
and
you know
you've
unless
seen
we do
like,
that, unless we
yeah,
start actually
yeah.
following what our religion is saying,
Mhm.
whatever religion is saying, whatever religion that you follow, unless we start listening to that again and actually practicing that, then फिर तो ये तो इवन इन परफेक्ट वर्ल्ड तो ये चलता रहेगा, जिस तरह तुम कह रहे हो कि यार परफेक्ट वर्ल्ड में
And you've at this point
people are
seen
going to be
50 of my
racist, people
comedy
are going to be
shows.
like
You
that,
have
but then
my entire set memorized. You know कि मेकिंग फन का मतलब ज़रूरी नहीं है कि
oh yeah, I have
रेसिज्म
memorized
हो,
all of
या
them.
ज़रूरी नहीं है, ज़रूरी थोड़ी है कि यार आप यही जो रेसिस्ट स्टीरियोटाइप्स हैं, कि आप इतने कॉमेडी शोज़ देखते हैं पाकिस्तान में, इट्स जस्ट ऑलवेज लाइक पठान गे, हा 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 हा, एंड इवन सो मेनी स्टैंड अप कॉमेडियंस फॉल इनटू दीस स्टूपिड ट्रोप्स. ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आप ह्यूमर जनरेट करना है तो ज़रूरी है कि आप दूसरे को पुट डाउन करके करें. और अगर करना भी, you make fun of what they do, not who they are, right? You make fun of their policies, you make fun of what they're
वही बात
doing.
है. I think the problem is that we're so used to, and there are so many messages around us to put people down. We have forgotten that, we as a whole, we need to start raising each other up, and that is something that we constantly fall back on. Okay, like wherever there is a problem, we're looking for a blame game. Whenever there's an exam, we're looking for a competition. We're looking कि अच्छा इस बंदे को मेरे से बेहतर marks नहीं मिलने चाहिए. You're looking at a job application. You're looking at people saying कि अच्छा इसका CV फाड़ देते हैं, या इस डांसर के जूते में हम लोग शीशा डाल देते हैं, या उस ड्रमर की उंगलियां तोड़ देते हैं. You have all these kinds of examples around us right now. Okay, we are constantly, there's this rat race that everyone is going on.
Yeah.
So it's not just about making fun. It's basically about,
I think
pushing
it's
the other
also
person
finite
down. कि यार नहीं,
resources.
तू
Yeah.
जमीन पे ही रहेगा, तू आगे नहीं उठेगा. Yeah, there's finite resources, but what we
हाँ.
forget is, जिस तरह हम मार्केटिंग में सुनते हैं कि अच्छा यार सिनर्जी एक नाम की चीज है. These are positive stimuli, right? Like
Yeah,
synergy,
yeah.
2 plus 2 is equal to 5. We work together, teamwork, and all that. Then
Yes,
bloody hell,
people
just
don't.
go
Yes.
and do it. Work like a team. Start working together. Start pushing people up. Start raising them rather than saying कि यार ये बंदा क्योंकि मेरा दोस्त नहीं है तो उसको opportunity मत दो. That's something that we need to practice. And I'm not saying we're 100%, दूध के धुले or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but at least try. And I think it's the effort that matters more so than the actual result at the end of the day, because it's the effort that is the fight, right? कि अच्छा आज
One
मैंने
hundred
चूज किया है
percent,
कि
yeah, I
मैं
completely
इसको
agree with you. And
दबाऊं या.
people don't see another person's effort. They just want what they have, and they don't want to put in the effort. So even online haters जो होते हैं, if they go online and like जिस तरह मुझे भी अगर कभी hate आ रही हो,
Yeah,
people say stuff like, "Oh, can't believe Shehzad makes a career out of comedy," just because they've seen one of my jokes which they didn't find funny, right? But as you
did
would
like,
testify, you've seen me
yeah,
backstage, you've seen me work. They don't see all of that. They don't see the hours I put in, they don't see the miles I put in. And if they
they
say
don't
कि,
see
I'm better than
they
him,
don't
why does
see
he have a
you.
career? They're not willing to do all of that. They're not willing to go through the grind. They're not willing to put themselves through 10 years of work to get where I am. They're like, आज मैं ऐसा हूँ, ये मेरा ट्वीट इसके ट्वीट से बेहतर है, मेरे पास वो क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि आपने 10 साल मेहनत नहीं की है उसके ऊपर. And if you do it, you're more than welcome. All the opportunities exist, right? So rather than trying to bring me down,
Exactly.
why don't you get up from your ass and work?
No, why don't you get up? If you can type, why don't you say, hey, what's up? I have this joke. Why don't you, give me feedback about it?
Yeah,
You can do that.
yeah.
You're a help. Because the thing is, वो बात है, community mindset बनना, like if I don't like a joke of yours, I can easily tell you, यार, नहीं, ये इतना अच्छा नहीं था.
Hmm.
I can do that to you, but I'm not doing that to say, कि, sir, you should just quit. You should just quit while you're at it. I'm not going to do that because it's not fair, first of all. Just one joke is not going to make it. But then I've seen you traveling, like Islamabad, Lahore, Karachi, wala jo madness jo tumne kiya tha abhi recently bhi. I've seen you doing that a lot of times. वो जो वही बात है कि वो देखते नहीं है, वो एफर्ट ही नहीं देखते, एफर्ट समझना भी नहीं चाहते. And like it's just something that like makes me say कि यार क्या बकवास है. ठीक है, he's working it, they're doing it. उसको करने दो. तुम्हें भी अगर ये चीज चाहिए,
Yeah,
तुम्हारा
not like
जर्नी
मैं किसी को
डिफरेंट है,
रोक रहा हूँ यार, आप कर ले.
लेकिन why don't you work?
एंड यू नो मी कि जब कोई मुझे कहता है मैंने परफॉर्म करना है, कुछ
Exactly.
करना है, आई एम ऑलवेज सो ओपन एंड वेलकमिंग.
Yeah. I've heard like a lot of people just last minute पे, and you'd be like, hey, मेरे लिए कोई ये ओपन कर रहा है. हाँ ठीक है, करने दो, क्या क्या जाता है. तो बात वही है कि यार opportunity opportunity can only come if you talk to me. If you're not going to talk, me or anyone else, okay? If I want to be a filmmaker and I don't talk to other filmmakers, I'm not going to be able to get as far ahead. I mean, I can do it, but you can do it too, but you might not get as far. You might not get the feedback that you're looking for. You might not meet the right person, to push you elsewhere.
Yeah.
And
There's
that's
also
very
that fear of
important.
failure, right? Ke, oh, it's
So,
easy for me to sit in my room and on a keyboard be like, this man's unfunny. I'm so much better than him, but I'm not gonna get in front of a crowd. I'm not gonna put myself through that. I'm not gonna be ready to fail 100 times to succeed one time, because in my head it is easy and convenient to
yeah,
think that I'm better than him without having done any of this work, and they're happy in that
yeah,
castle of dreams that they've built from themselves, even if it's
so
made of
that
sand
there's also
that will
that.
blow away one day. But coming back to the racism वाली बात जो हम कहते हैं जी, बिग
Yeah.
डील नहीं है, बिग डील नहीं है, how these jokes eventually
Mm,
lead to violence. अभी शामून इस्माइल ने ट्वीट किया
mm.
where he was like, oh, we're all locked down because some chink decided to eat a bad soup. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry if I hurt somebody.
Much.
But I mean,
Wait,
2020 है, who uses
much.
the
Oh
word
my
chink? मतलब
God.
ये तो सालों से अब तो सबको पता है. And now even Twitter is like, oh, it's no big deal. क्या हो गया? तो आप, what's your take on the casual use of the word chink?
Ah, I think they don't understand what chink means. That is why they use it. Even all these words, like the connotations behind them, they don't realize it. So they use it very, casually. Oh, हाँ, किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, ऐसे दे तो किसी को कुछ नहीं होगा. You have to be very careful with your words because you are inevitably going to offend somebody. ठीक है? You might not offend. So let's say if his tweet met like, I don't know, 100,000 people, you are going to offend at least 20,000 people. Okay? Because there is a population over here. You know, I mean, I'm assuming this is a Pakistani comedian who thinks that you can post anything you want. And yes, there is freedom of
Yeah,
speech.
yeah.
You can say whatever you want. But do you want to show this side of yourself to the world? Because remember, social media has to be a curated version of yourself.
You're also like, ये side है तो
Is
इसकी,
this the view
दुनिया को
that
मत दिखाओ. This is, you have the side, just don't show it. Rather than, you're not even asking for don't have the side. You're like, ये तुमसे पता है
are
कि
you
तुम
sure
लोग
you want to do
सोचोगे
that?
तो सोचोगे तो ये मैं एक्सपेक्ट भी नहीं
Don't
कर रही.
try don't
बस उसको
cause
प्राइवेट रखो.
प्रॉब्लम है मेरे लिए एब्सोल्यूट नहीं कर सकते ना मेरे एंड आई मे बी रॉन्ग ओवर हियर होना तो नहीं चाहिए पहली बात तो ये साइड होना ही नहीं चाहिए था ठीक है बट द थिंग
Hmm.
इज बट फॉर मी व्हाट आई फील लाइक इज inherently a lot of times we say things unapologetically but without thinking ठीक है आई फील दैट ठीक है इस बंदे ने ये बहुत मुझे फजूल बात इस वजह से लगी नॉट बिकॉज ही यूज द वर्ड चिंक बट द फैक्ट दैट अगेन इल इन्फॉर्म्ड कि अच्छा यार आपने कहीं से सुना कि किसी ने बैट सूप पिया और वो भी चाइना का था तो इसलिए तुम्हें शायद कैरेक्टर्स बचाने के लिए तुमने चिंक लिख दिया होगा बट मुझे ये लगता
there,
है कि
there
यार
is a there is an academic discussion to have,
स्टूपिड
right? So for instance,
स्टूपिड
Chinese wet markets, you can talk about it. You can talk about that wet markets in China cause a risk. ठीक है, there is a risk of disease jumping as it is कि जिस तरह ईद उल अज़हा पे हम सड़क पे बकरे काटते हैं, नालों में खून बह रहा होता है, लोग इंटेस्टाइन्स रोड पे भेज देते हैं. Similarly,
एग्जैक्टली
100% similarly, there is a risk of
या
infectious diseases through that, and a lot of people get sick. It's just that कि हमारा healthcare system इतना बुरा है या हमारी tracking इतनी अच्छी नहीं है that we don't track it. But ईद उल अज़हा पे जिस तरह हम unhygienically
आई
कुर्बानी करें, आप absolutely करें, but unhygienically ना करें ना, तो आप इंटेस्टाइन्स अगर रोड पे फेंक रहे हैं, of course that will cause disease. तो
हाँ
उसी तरह जो Chinese wet markets हैं, where different animal
एग्जैक्टली
species are kept with each other, there is a chance, and वो खुद भी कह रहे हैं कि अभी वाइल्ड लाइफ ट्रेड बैन करेंगे. बट दैट डजंट मीन कि एक एथनिसिटी या एक नेशनैलिटी बुरे लोग होते हैं.
एग्जैक्टली मुझे किसी ने सो अगेन बैक टू दिस कमेंट वेयर आई ट्वीट आई फील दैट it is absolutely stupid but that's my opinion ठीक है my other friend might say कि यार ये क्या बकवास है
या
इसने
एंड
क्यों ये
इवन
सारी
अगर
चीज की
लेट्स
है
से वी
मेरे
अज्यूम के,
बैन
सॉरी,
करा है like I feel कि उसको सिर्फ like I said, why it's stupid for me is because he's trying to jump. Like I feel like कि आजकल everyone's in lockdown. People are frustrated. People want to talk about whatever they want to, whatever's in their head. and there is freedom of speech, which is why I'm saying, कि, हाँ, are you sure this is the side that you want to show? Uh, or this is the view that you want to show to people, right? I'm I'm not condoning what he's doing. I absolutely do not condone it because there's a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of stupidity around it. There's a lot of racism around it, and there's a lot of
I just
ill
think he thought
information.
funny over.
Okay?
I think he just
So
thought funny hoga. I think he just
he
genuinely
just
thought
thought
funny hoga.
he just thought
ये
funny
this tweet
होगा,
will
मुझे
bang.
गुस्सा
It's
कर
so
रहा है,
funny.
लॉकडाउन हो गया हुआ है. Yeah. So, well, but again, he's getting that attention also, right? He is getting that attention which he wanted. But
Yeah,
like I said,
yeah,
but this is
and
again a side that he's showing.
hmm.
Disgusting, um, racist side, which he might not be a racist that he says that he is, but I just feel like, यार, मतलब क्यों क्यों इस तरह की फजूल हरकत करनी है? And when it comes to the
Yeah,
wet
it's
markets
like
वाली
it's the
बातें,
word, right?
yeah,
It's आप
वही बात,
intention. कुछ words
hyperbole
होते हैं
की
अगर आप
बात.
n word, if you're using the n word, it doesn't matter if you do it as a joke. It doesn't matter
Hmm.
अगर आपकी intention. Now the word inherently is violent. The word inherently is racist. So let's say had he said, uh, one Chinese person decided to eat a bad soup and now we're all quarantined. I give him a bigger pass on that, as not saying that's the perfect thing to say, but I would be more
Yeah,
lenient
yeah.
towards
I mean,
giving a pass rather than the some chink. You're just now being deliberately hateful and
then
racist.
he doesn't realize the connotations behind it. He doesn't realize the history behind that word, and he doesn't realize what a lot of Chinese people had to struggle because of this word, right? He doesn't realize कि अमेरिका में कितनी like institutionalized discrimination थी Chinese people के साथ for a very long time. ये तो बहुत recently अब जाके बेहतर होके फिर दोबारा खराब हुआ है, you know. And then there's this, like, there's a lot, like, race, like, cultural studies में तो बहुत ज्यादा बात चल सकती है इसके बारे में, पर वो वही बात है कि यार, as a person you have to choose. Always, you're always given that choice to be a good person or a bad person, ठीक है? And you're the one that there's that effort. आपको अगर religion, if you follow a religion, if you follow whatever your parents have taught you, if you follow your grandparents and whatever you've taught you, you still have a choice to see between the good and bad of it, right? So you choose that thing, and he chose to be funny, and he chose to offend, then later on coming out with an apology saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Fine, you can apologize. You can accept that you've made a mistake. So, and that's why I'm not
But it
vehemently
wasn't even apology,
attacking
right? It was
him
like अगर कोई hurt हो
about
गया
what he
तो
has.
अगर आप, the problem is you for getting hurt. The
Again, I
problem is not
can read.
me.
I can know this. Yeah. So if he said something like that, or versus saying something like, "Okay, I agree that my tweet was untasteful. I'm really sorry." There's a difference in the words as well, right? And there's also that intention as well, and intention comes through words in many
Hmm.
ways. It does, which is why I intentionally, when I was asked to write, I I remember having this conversation with my friend Sarah, and I kept saying, Sarah, I don't want to make people think that I'm hating on Pakistan because I don't. And she said, Vicky, just write whatever you feel like and just share it with me first. And I did, and this exactly what I wrote is what is on it. Okay, yeah. For every ching chong that I have got, and I do want to repeat that, every ching chong that I have, I've had a friend who stood up and who stood up for me. For every Pini or whatever that people used to call me, or chapta, there has always been somebody who would say, hey, back off, you know. And I'm really thankful that, like, me being born in Pakistan, maybe I don't have to face as much of the racism as other people, but I feel like I must at least talk about it and say कि भाई ये गलत है, आपको नहीं करना चाहिए इस तरह, आप इंसान हैं. You wouldn't want it, because I read a lot of people saying things like कि ओ ये तो वही लोग हैं जो तुम्हारा मजाक उड़ाते हैं, जो बाहर जाके उनके साथ भी वही होगा टाइप की बातें. I was like, that's not the point. You know, पहली बात और सबसे पहली बात ये है कि ये होना नहीं चाहिए. You should not pick on people. You should not be racist. You should not hurt people. And that is something that I just wanted to talk about.
Yeah, and even
And
if
that,
we
again, with the
if we
Shamoon
reduce it
thing,
factually, if, yeah, if we, even if we reduce it factually, yeah, let's say फैक्चुअली एविडेंस मिल जाए, लेट्स अज्यूम कि जी किसी ने बैड सूप पिया था और स्पेसिफिकली उससे जंप हुआ है, दैट्स लाइक अगर मैड काउ डिजीज हुई थी तो
हम्म,
किसी एक इंसान ने
कभी भी
बीफ स्टेक खाया होगा, दैट डजंट मीन एवरी सिंगल ह्यूमन बीइंग हुज ईटन अ बीफ स्टेक इज अ टेरिबल पर्सन। इट्स उसको थोड़ी पता था कि यार पूरी दुनिया को कोरोना
एग्जैक्ट
वायरस हो जाएगा। अज्यूमिंग, अभी कोई एविडेंस नहीं है कि इस तरह हुआ है, बट अज्यूमिंग कि वो एविडेंस मिल भी जाए, दैट डजंट मीन कि कुछ लोग बुरे हो जाते हैं। या अगर आप इस तरह की बातें करते हैं कि चाइनीज तो हैं ही ऐसे, स्वाइन फ्लू अमेरिका में हुआ था, सो नाउ इफ डोनाल्ड ट्रंप इज कॉलिंग दिस चाइनीज वायरस स्वाइन फ्लू, को तो किसी ने अमेरिकन वायरस नहीं कहा था। या मैड काउ डिजीज अगर यूरोप यूके
नहीं
में
कहा
हुई
था
थी,
नहीं।
देयर वाज नो रेसिज्म अगेंस्ट दैट। या लेकिन अगर गाय हमारी एक स्टेपल डाइट है, या एवियन फ्लू अगर चिकन में हुआ था, चिकन फ्लू अगर सबको याद हो, बर्ड फ्लू, तब क्योंकि ये हलाल हैं और
बर्ड
हम
फ्लू
रोज खाते हैं, तब रेसिज्म नहीं आ रहा था। अब अगर एक एलिजिड, या या सो अगर if right now it's a species that we might not eat, that doesn't mean कि ये रेसिस्ट हैं या ये अजाब हैं। टू दिस पॉइंट, ये तो बहुत कैजुअली लाइक पाकिस्तान में कहा जाता है, राइट, कि ओ यू नो चाइनीज दे ईट एवरीथिंग एंड हा 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 हा, कुत्ते खा लेते हैं, वाह हा हा हा।
growing up all I heard was अच्छा तुम कॉकरोच खाती हो and I was like ew no I don't even want to come close to one you know like I get asked this a lot तुम lizards खाती हो तुम dogs तो नहीं खाती तुम बिल्ली तो नहीं खाती where are you getting all this information from I don't eat that stuff you know and this is like this I've been asked this question since I was a kid in school like even my own class fellows knowing me would ask me this question again and again sometimes just to offend me but it's just something like you can't really first of all factually we still can't tell कि कहाँ से आया है ठीक है कि
Yeah.
ये वायरस किस जगह से like we know किस जगह से originate किया है या at least इसकी uh, from the epidemic to pandemic state कहाँ से शुरू हुआ है but
Mm.
nobody like we have to be aware of this fact nobody infects themselves on purpose ठीक है
Yeah.
nobody wants to be infected and trust me like there was this really heartbreaking post on Facebook which said keep in mind that the people who are dying from coronavirus are dying alone without their families around them you know because yeah social distancing की वजह से quarantine करने की वजह से and it was so heartbreaking just hearing that or being reminded that because it's you know whenever we hear about people dying peacefully at home there's always this line that goes died peacefully at home with their fam in the presence of family and friends or in the presence of loved ones but for these people like you're seeing there's a lot of pain you know there was this video of this woman who started wailing in the hospital okay you know doctor please help me I have a fever I have a very strong fever and she's like crying at the top of her voice ke yaar mujhe koi like they're so scared of it right now and I just couldn't believe how people could use that as a joke कि अच्छा यार हाँ इन्होंने इन्होंने चमगादड़ खाए हैं तो फिर ये इनके साथ ये तो होना ही था ये तो अजाब आना ही था इन पे there was this one video one of my friends shared this thing about hantavirus it's an
Mm.
old form
Yeah,
of a
yeah.
virus that spreads through rat pee again there was this one case in China and you know nobody bothered to open up or research about it and if like I found out that hantavirus can only be spread through rat pee it cannot be transferred from human to human but the comment of my like the comments from my friends was hurtful and even though I'm not like a Chinese national or you know patriot for China or anything like that but when I was reading that I got really angry because it was like one particular comment was there were some comments like ये चाइनीज लोग खाते हैं ये बुरी चीजें हैं इनको तो तमीज ही नहीं है then there was one comment that said यार इन चाइनीज को पकड़ के मारो to that I just said हाँ आके मारो मुझे I just literally responded like that because I was so angry at that time कि यार मतलब I was angry at the fact that my friend didn't say anything to them and then I was also angry at the fact that these people were saying really like unfounded weird things like कि मतलब ये लोग खाते ही ये गंदी चीजें हैं um And yes, they were using religion as well to say, okay, oh, then this is why it's haram in our religion. Dude, they have to understand not every Chinese person eats
Do
those
you
things. There
feel
is a
do you
huge
feel like for
population
some
of
reason,
vegetarians. There are vegetarians. There are people who don't eat a particular, kind of meat. There, a lot of people say that we don't eat that stuff because it is, first of all, it's very inaccessible. It's not rampant. It's not everyone who can go and buy these meats. Some of these meats are really expensive. So a lot of people are misguided with information, and they just rampantly share these ideas, and they don't, a lot of them also don't realize a lot of these foods that the Chinese, started eating or became delicacies or things like that happened out of necessity, out of famine. People don't realize the history of it, and I'm fine with that ignorance. But the thing is, ठीक है आप ignorant हैं, I can't fix that. बट आपको एटलीस्ट आपको ये बताया गया है, और ये स्कूलों में बताया जाता है, ये घरों में बताया जाता है, ये इस रिलीजन में बताया जाता है कि भाई इंसानों के साथ हमदर्दी से रहना चाहिए, लाइक हमदर्दी दिखानी चाहिए, या यू शुड बी नाइस टू पीपल, बी काइंड टू
yes,
देम, शो काइंड. Everyone just ignores
yes,
that. They just throw it out the window because they feel like, yeah, keyboard warrior. You know, it just like, I'm not saying कि मैं सिर्फ मैं इस चीज से गुजर रही हूँ, because मेरे से बुरे और लोग भी हैं. There was an article yesterday about a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old stabbed because they were Chinese. You're looking at 2-year-old and 6-year-olds being attacked now, and that is beyond intolerable for me. कि यार ये
I don't think anybody wants to
इतनी
educate
फजूल
themselves, right?
हरकत है
So
कि
you're
आप जाके.
absolutely right about the history of famine in China, जिसकी वजह से necessity बन गई थी of eating certain things. And जहाँ तक exotic meats की बात है, it's actually the rich capitalists who sort of lobbied the government to allow for the exotic meat trade, because ये अमीर तरीन जो लोग हैं,
Exactly.
इनको चाहिए था, इनके लिए था. It's a very select few rich people who are lobbying the government to keep these open or to continue giving licenses. जिस तरह even हम rhino horn की बात करते हैं, which a lot of people claim as an aphrodisiac. Viagra exist करती है, it is effective. Rhino horn is not effective for that. लेकिन फिर भी rhinos की hunting हो रही है, वो they're on the brink of
Yes.
extinction. क्यों? Because it has become a
Chemical.
it's become a class symbol कि जी मैं मेरे घर में rhino horn. So it's these really rich people, not the average person who's only looking to make the best of the life they've been given.
And also, there's this whole idea that Viagra is chemicals, pharmacies, and all that, pharmaceutically developed and things like that, versus something that's organic or that's natural. It gives them that sense, this idea that this is much better than whatever is available in the market that everyone can get. If I have this status symbol, why not? I'm rich, haha, I can do that. That's the kind of mentality that they have, and that's why they're still lobbying for it, even though they should not now. They should. I mean, it's banned now, but then again, they said the same thing about previously that they did have a ban when there was another epidemic, but then
SARS के बाद.
it the ban was lifted.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think after
उसके
SARS for a
बाद फिर
couple of
से
years there was a
उन्होंने.
ban. And even when we talk about the कि जी वो लैब में बना था, इसराइल, यूके, कनाडा की साजिश है. Look at where the world is right now. Do you really feel any government in the world would want this? Do you really feel any, unless कोई जोकर टाइप का इंसान है who just wants the entire world destroyed, you can't think this is, you legit can't be dumb enough to think the leader of the world collectively got together and released this. And all science, ये तो मैं आपको साइंस प्रीच भी नहीं करूंगा, क्योंकि जो लोग ऐसी बातें करते हैं उनको साइंस तो नहीं देखना. पब्लिक न्यूज़, वो आई हैव नो आइडिया, हर कोई आज न्यूज़ चैनल बना रहा है. पब्लिक न्यूज़ ने तो जी टीवी पे चला दिया कि एविडेंस है, एंड इतने कॉन्फिडेंस से बोलते हैं एविडेंस मिला है कि जी किसी लैब में. क्या एविडेंस मिला है, दिखाओ ना. अगर आप इतने पब्लिकली टीवी पे आके बोल रहे हो, बिकॉज ऑल साइंटिस्ट एग्री दैट्स नेचुरली अकरिंग स्ट्रेन एंड इट्स नेक्स्ट टू इम्पॉसिबल दैट दिस वाज क्रिएटेड इन अ लैब. बट लोगों को जो कंट्रोवर्सी मिल जाए, दे डोंट
Yeah.
वांट टू एक्चुअली एजुकेट देमसेल्फ.
Yeah, and people are putting stuff up like, oh, you know what, look at where China is right now. China ने ये कर लिया, China ने वो कर लिया है, अब देखो दूसरे मुल्कों को भी प्रॉब्लम आ गई है और अब वो हेल्प कर रहा है. I mean, we're constantly, as human beings, I'm not going to say my race anymore, I'm not going to say my nationality anymore, but we as humans are literally just always constantly looking for for an enemy. We're constantly looking for an enemy. We constantly want to pick a fight. It's 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 confusing. Like, क्यों? Why do we have to fight all the time? Why can't we just sit over coffee and be like, हाँ यार बताओ क्या 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 चल रहा है? You know, I was like, हर वक्त अगर किसी को आप फेसबुक पे कमेंट करो तो एक उसका रिटॉर्ट लाजमी आता है कि भाई नहीं आप गलत है, आपने ये किया, ये क्यों हुआ? Somebody told me to cover use like have a mask on when I'm going outside because of all the racism, and I was like, hey, make you. I decided not to respond to any of the comments then because of that. And I know a lot of people have messaged me. A lot of people have said a lot of strangers have messaged me, and I'm really hard. Like I feel really good. Okay, there are people out there who still have insaniyat in them, but I feel कि यार even that despite all that we're constantly trying to find कि यार किधर से हुआ है, क्या हुआ है, instead of seeing, listen, we have a friend of mine messaged in a group chat today, we're going to hit 1 million cases today. 1 million is a lot of people. Okay, forget that we're a part of a 7
And
billion
these are confirmed reported, so
population of the
probably more
world.
people
It's
have
one.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is 1 million people. Imagine that's 1 million families that are being affected. Why are we not helping them instead of looking for कि oh ये चाइना ने किया है, ये यूएस ने किया है, ये इजराइल ने किया है, ये यूके में से हुआ है, ये साउथ कोरिया में हुआ है, all that bullshit. Like honestly, I don't get why we are trying to look for the source right now for the blame game. I mean, it's important. It's very important to know the source, but if we have information and if we have data right now, why can't we use that to help people instead of trying to
घर पे लोग फारिग बैठे हुए हैं,
trigger
उनको जो
another World
ऑनलाइन
War
जाके
Three?
बोलना है, जो बोलना है घर पे। अच्छा, I've just thought of this theory, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this as well. I think it's easier for us to, or maybe even worldwide, to dehumanize Chinese people in particular. Because of the imperialist nature of the export of American culture. If we see an American, we immediately have a point of relation, whether that be through language, which is our most basic mode of communication. के क्योंकि सब कॉन्टिनेंट में कलोनियलिज्म हुआ था, हमें एक तो आदत है अंग्रेज़ों को देखने की, वी शेयर अ कनेक्शन, वी शेयर अ लैंग्वेज।
Mm,
अगर हम क्रिकेट खेलते हैं वो भी क्रिकेट खेलते हैं, अगर हम टी, वी ड्रिंक टी, व्हिच इज आल्सो इंग्लिश। ऐसा लगता है कि चाय तो हमारा नेचुरल नेशनल वो है, बट एक्चुअली ब्रिटिश इम्पोर्ट्स था। So there is you find a lot of things that you can relate to them, you can communicate to them। आप उनके कल्चर से बहुत ज़्यादा एक्सपोज्ड हैं, आप उनकी आदतों से, लोगों से मिलना जुलना है। डी उनके जो नेचर ऑफ देयर governance or society, there is a lot of uh, individuality, especially in America more so than UK. The idea of the individual is supreme, right? Personal liberty, the individual, whereas in communist China the individual almost doesn't matter, it's subservient to the state। and एक population इतनी ज़्यादा है, तो you just see a sea of people, so it's easier to dehumanize a
yeah.
Chinese person. You almost don't see them as an equal human being. If you have one single Chinese person and a single American person, subconscious आपकी bias होगी that the American life is more important। and it's obviously the right thing to say that all human lives are equal, but I do feel that it's easier to dehumanize Chinese people because of all of these reasons। I don't know what your take on this would be।
वो वही बात है, familiarity. ठीक है, we are familiar with the American classics. Our favorite bands are usually American. Our favorite movies are usually American or British. Bottom line, American, Hollywood. Our the way we dress up, although now has globalized to the point where it doesn't matter. But the thing is, I feel that it's easier to do that is because there is a history of of this balance of power. when the African Americans were living in America, उनके साथ भी यही हुआ है. It was easy to dehumanize them because there was a distinct cultural difference. Okay. So it's the same with the Chinese. There is a distinct cultural difference, and which is why it's easy. The only issue is that with this discrimination, it is going to affect other people as well. Like you're going to. It's not just the Chinese again. It's going to be the Japanese. It's going to be the Koreans. It's going to be the Vietnamese, the Thai. All the entire population around that. And like I was reading, there was a Singaporean couple in not a couple, brother, sister, siblings. And what happened was they were in London and they got punched in their faces for being Chinese. Yeah, punched in the face for it. Like शुक्र है मेरे साथ अभी तक किसी ने ये नहीं किया कि मुझे जूता उतार के मुझे मारना शुरू किया. शुक्र है नहीं हुआ. And I'm thankful कि नहीं हुआ. But there's on the other side of our world, this is happening, and it is going to translate. It is going to escalate if we don't stop
हाय
it now.
यार,
So
पता नहीं
it's
क्यों.
easier. Again,
या
there's so much difference. There's so much difference culturally. Okay? I but that's an image that you see. When I am talking to my friends, I'm like, dude, Punjabis or Pakistanis and us, we have no difference, okay? No difference whatsoever. My mom and dad are still worried that I'm single and I'm 31. Yes, I just realized I told everyone how old I am.
अगर किसी को
They're still talking
करनी
about
है शादी
शादी.
तो रिश्ते भेजिए thepakistanexperience@gmail.com. We are now
बिल्कुल भी
accepting
नहीं.
all रिश्तास. हो सकता है जियो पे आपकी वीडियो भी आ जाए. चाइनीज लड़की ने एक गुजरांवाला का मुंडा, चाइनीज लड़की और गुजरांवाला के लड़के की शादी हो गई.
वो जो ट्विटर पे जो होता है, Twitter loves falling in love with each other type का scene. There
हाँ,
was also
और क्या.
like for example, they whole like on Eid the way we meet. I get Eid on Chinese New Year. You guys get Eid on your Eids. Um, it's very similar that way. Even the way they behave, like I'm seriously telling you. I like even
कर ले आप
family
लाहौरियों से शादी कर
relationships
लें.
are
बहुत
almost the same.
सब या सबको वैसे ही लगता है कि
I
आप लोग
heard
सब
a
खा
lot of
लेते हैं.
people.
लाहौर में लाहौर में लोग वैसे ही गधे का खा रहे हैं, सो वो डोंकी मीट वो भी खाते हैं लाहौर में. तो ये तो
Yeah,
मतलब
the
खुद
inverse
सारे हम यहाँ
relevance.
गधे खा रहे हैं. सारे पाकिस्तान में जी गधे खा रहे हैं, लोग डोंकी मीट खा रहे हैं एंड देन वी लाइक ये इन लोगों को ये चीज़ें नहीं खानी चाहिए यार. आप
What
लोग
the
जो गधे का गोश्त बेच रहे हैं, उसमें नहीं डिज़ीज़ फैलेंगे.
I have no idea about that anymore. But yeah, like
या
a
मैं
lot of people
आई जस्ट होप ऑन द
have
अदर
a
साइड.
preferred,
जी.
right?
हुँ.
Like everyone likes their paternal side more than their paternal side. That's the same over here. I'm just saying. Yeah.
I just hope, yaar, we build a kinder world on the other side. Hope this gets over soon and then humanity realizes कि सबसे important हमारी humanity है. If you're a human being, if you're a life, that takes priority over everything else. And we stop being hateful and we start being loving. There are conversations to have, यार. Even in Pakistan, CPEC का अगर आपने criticize करना है, Chinese government policies आपने criticize करनी है, आपने हमारी government criticize करनी है, you can have all of those discussions without racism, without xenophobia, without hate against an entire nation. There are academic conversations to be had. There are academic conversations to be have about exotic meat, about wet markets. None of them are an excuse to use hateful language, to be racist. And I hope people realize कि जो भी हमारे differences हैं, सबको कोरोना वायरस हो सकता है. And if जिसको होता है उसको दर्द होता है, उसके घर वालों को दुख होता है. तो आई होप ये रियलाइज हम करें कि हम सब इंसान हैं एंड दैट फीलिंग स्टेज सुप्रीम.
The thing is, yeah, and see, the thing is, the coronavirus, it is not a racist, all right, and it is taking over the world. Okay? It doesn't care whether you are Spanish, it doesn't care whether you're Portuguese, it doesn't care whether you're Chinese, doesn't care whether you're Indian or Pakistani, it doesn't care what religion you have. as long as it gets a, a body that breathes, that bleeds, that has cells, it will attack. So at the end of the day, no matter what our, whatever our skin color is, or whatever we believe in, it is not going to give a damn about it. And that is the whole point. We as a whole, we are an entire human race. Okay? It doesn't matter whether there are subspecies of us. At the end of the day, we all have one heart, we all have two lungs, we all have a brain. We, like, that's just how our bodies are, right?
नहीं,
We
मेरा तो
all
दिल टूट
bleed
गया
the
ना,
same
मेरा आई
color.
आई हैड वन
I
हार्ट, अब तो मैंने दे दिया किसी को, उसने तोड़ दिया, नाउ आई हैव नो हार्ट, नाउ आई एम अ सैड हार्टलेस हार्ट ब्रोकन पर्सन।
हम
तड़प
करके
तड़प के इस
दोबारा जोड़
दिल
देते हैं, बट
से
द थिंग इज,
आह निकलती रही।
I remember this movie line which says, "Cut my skin, and you'll see we all, cut our skin, and we'll see we all bleed the same color."
Wow, yeah. No, we bleed green. We are Pakistani. Only Pakola
So
whom we have.
I mean,
Or does bleeding green?
yeah, smelling of cardamom and all that, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I bleed red,
I
man.
bleed chai. At this point, I
Crabs
won't be
bleed blue,
surprised. I'm
so
घर पे बैठे
whatever.
इतनी चाय पी रहा हूँ.
I will probably eat then. Lots of, I will
Thanks,
eat
Vicky.
lots
Thanks
of
for talking to
so.
me as a human being before CPAC happens and you become the next president of Pakistan. It was nice for you to think of me as a human being and an equal. We'll wait till you take over the country and rule us for the next century.
Oh, उससे पहले तो मुझे गालियाँ दे इस वक्त। Yeah, but sometimes when I feel like somebody is annoying me too much, I do say कि, बेटा आगे जाके देखते हैं।
रुको.
But आपको वो अच्छा, ठीक है, इतनी याद याद रखती हूँ मैं।
But
I'm
this
done.
is also an important conversation to have यार.
But it's
जैसे
part of,
इंशाल्लाह दुनिया अभी अगर नहीं,
I
बट इवन
hope
अगर अभी दुनिया इंशाल्लाह अगर ठीक हो जाएगी एंड सीपेक स्टार्ट्स वर्किंग, विल सी अ लॉट मोर पीपल, राइट? जिस तरह अगर आप अभी इस्लामाबाद में भी हैं, यू सी अ लॉट ऑफ अमेरिकन कैजुअली, यू विल सी अ लॉट मोर चाइनीज पीपल, एंड अभी भी असिमिलिएशन बहुत ज़्यादा कम है. Like even if expats and Americans come and Britishers come, I see them at parties, I see them mingling with people, whereas I don't see that necessarily, even though there is strong Chinese presences in the communities. I don't see as many of them in social gatherings or people befriending them like they would. Maybe it's just because के Americans और Britishers से हमारे एक
there's
inferiority complex भी हो जाता है, and it's a class symbol thing कि ये लोग हमारे उस पे आए हुए हैं, which we don't have yet with the Chinese people, or maybe it's just cultural differences.
I do know for a fact that we're, like, at least from our community's point of view, we are very private. I'm They don't like to have mingle that much. A lot of the mingling is actually happening from our generation, like this particular generation that's
Hmm.
happening right now. In the last generation, interracial marriages were still frowned upon, because of, like, they're so different from us. How do you think we can live with them? Type की एक उन दिमाग में है, ठीक है. Um, and I'm not denying that that's, a lot, for a lot of them there is this question, Gecha, we aren't like them, we don't think like them, we don't eat like them, we don't work like them, and we assimilate with them. I've had a lot of conversations with my
Yeah, but
own mother
yeah,
about it, and oftentimes, like, I'm like, "Mom, stop being racist. Not everyone can be the same." But, like I said,
but Vicky, I think how
internally,
much
a
of
lot of
that
us
is based on their personal
have that.
experiences as well, right? So if I talk about the South Asian diaspora और जो पेरेंट्स के जनरेशन के हैं वो अमेरिका जाते हैं बिकॉज उन्होंने रेसिज्म फील किया, their their reflex was, oh, let's just stick to our communities क्योंकि these people don't want us, let us also turn around and be like हमें भी नहीं चाहिए, हमने भी नहीं करना. So if obviously somebody is coming to
Hmm.
Pakistan with the hopes of a better
Hmm.
life, they will not come with the intention कि ये लोग बहुत बुरे हैं, हमें इनसे नहीं mingle करना. Maybe they've had bad experiences जिसकी वजह से they've recoiled and now as a community feel like कि नहीं, हम आपस में ही ठीक हैं.
Yeah, that's the whole thing ना कि हम आपस में ही ठीक हैं, and which is why like me and my friends, at least this generation, दो तीन लड़कियां हैं, हम usually इकट्ठी होती हैं, एक के साथ तो मेरी बहुत ज्यादा बात होती है इस चीज के बारे में कि मतलब ये क्यों क्यों ऐसा होता है, हमारी experiences इस तरह क्यों है, and it turned out that it is because of our experience, like you know the way both sides work. It's not just the majority or just our community. It's always been like a cycle of it, right? Why my parents always said no dating with locals was because they've always seen hardships for those couples, or they've always seen girls who've had their hearts broken because of this. So,
मत करो
but
पाकिस्तानी
again,
लड़के
that
से
I'm
शादी,
not
मत
saying
करो
it
पाकिस्तानी
will
लड़के से इश्क,
necessarily.
विकी आपका दिल टूट जाएगा। हम सारे पाकिस्तानी लड़के कमीने होते हैं। आपकी साइड पे अज़ान होना भी शुरू हो गई है। आई थिंक इट्स
Yes.
बीन
और यहाँ पर
85 मिनट्स।
4-5 होंगी
सो
एक वक्त पे,
थैंक यू
and
सो मच विकी
I have
फॉर
never
हैविंग
heard
अस।
the gun
थैंक यू सो
for
मच
having
आपने
me.
हमें जॉइन किया और हमें ये सारी बातें की। कोई आप पार्टिंग मैसेज देना चाहेंगे कि ना मत करो नफ़रतें भाई?
Be human, man. At the end of the day, that's all that we are. That's all that we have to be, and live and let live.
As simple as
I
it
think
can be.
that's
Thank you
good.
so much everybody for listening. Thank you Vicky for joining us. Feel love यार, इंसान को इंसान समझें, दिल से दिल मिलाएं और चाइनीज़ लड़कियों के दिल ना तोड़ें ताकि ये कम्युनिटी हमारे साथ इंटरैक्ट करे और हम जैसा फील करें। थैंक यू सो मच एवरीबॉडी, टेक केयर, बाय बाय।
Okay, bye bye.